colored moissanite. So if you guys are curious about getting colored moissanite for an engagement ring, some of the things that you should consider when buying one, let's just jump right in. So the very first thing is, one, yes, yellow moissanite is a little bit more expensive, or colored moissanite as a whole. When I buy it, it's generally more expensive than the colorless. Colored moissanite does have the same refraction as a white moissanite. In my opinion, it actually has a little bit more of a fiery effect than the colorless moissanite, especially when it comes to, for example, like the yellow one. It actually has a much more similar refraction to a diamond. So if you are looking for a colored diamond substitute, because like obviously pink diamonds, blue diamonds, they're off the charts, they're not affordable. So if you're looking for an alternative but you want the same aesthetic, then going for a colored moissanite, yellow, pink, blue, it will resemble quite similarly to a colored diamond, which is pretty exciting. You can get colored moissanites in many colors. You can get it in grays, in blues, in greens, kind of like a turquoise, pinks, yellows. So you do have like a very wide range of colors for sure. If you are trying to mimic more of a natural stone, there are some that will never kind of have an equivalent in the gemstones. For example, like there's a lot of moissanites that are sold that are kind of like a blue-green hue to it, kind of like a turquoise, and that is not something that we find naturally, versus if you go for like a yellow, then there is a yellow diamond, or if you go for a pink moissanite, a lot of people will probably think that it's a pink sapphire. So there are kind of like equivalents, but when you get into the more kind of like over the top colors, like a bright blue-green is not gonna look natural. So that is something that you may want to keep in mind. When something's too intense, a lot of the times we can kind of get tired over the years quite quickly, versus if you go to more toned down colors like yellows or pinks, or even colorless, it's sometimes a better option. Another thing that you really want to keep in mind is that you do want to go generally with a slightly higher carat, and the reason why is because when you go smaller and smaller, the saturation of the color becomes less and less. And so a 3 carat yellow moissanite is going to have a much more intense color than a 1 carat. And there are ways of getting around this. Like if you don't want a big stone, then there are things that you can do. For example, the bezels when you're setting the center stone can be made in yellow gold. Just the thin band and not the actual ring itself. That will help enhance the color. You can make the prongs yellow as well. That will help bring out that punch. So there are little things that we can do to help increase the color, but at the end of the day, a higher carat weight for colored stones, in my opinion, is generally better. When you're buying colored moissanite, you want to make sure that the technique used to color the moissanite itself is not the dipping method, because there is a method where they coat the bottom half of the stone and that will give the stone its color. However, it's not a durable process. So over time that color will slightly start to come off and you will end up with a stone that's very little in color, if at all, over the years. And so to avoid that, you really want to make sure that the gem stealer that you're working with does not buy coated stones. So I hope this was helpful. If you have any more questions, obviously leave them down below, smash that like button, and we'll see you next time.